gonna get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back seat! Tell me where you are, John!
Wolfman's got Nards!
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to tell you my top picks for who I think Ghostface will be. Now there is some rules for this list because I'm only going to be choosing characters that are actually going to be in the movie for definite, so there's no surprise characters on the list. I know that a lot of us think Stu might come back, and he might very well come back as one of the killers, but he's not officially in the movie, so I can't officially say that he's going to be one of the killers. So I'm only really going to go by that poster that you saw, the Guess Who poster, with the addition of Dr. Christopher Stone. The reason I'm including Dr. Christopher Stone is because he is played by a high profile actor. I'm including him on the list, so there is going to be 14 characters that I'm going to go through. Half of them are obviously not going to be the killer, but I'm going to include them anyway because we're going to do a list from least likely to most likely. Another thing I should point out is I'm not going to be including secondary characters that I don't think are going to be in the movie much. For example, Brooks, who is in the movie, I don't think he's going to be one of the killers, so I'm not going to include someone like him. However, if the killer ends up being a secondary character that has almost no lines in the movie, then I will be disappointed if they become the killer. But if it turns out that someone like Brooks ends up getting a major role in the film, then obviously I'm wrong. But if we get characters that have only got a couple of lines and end up being the killer, then that will be very, very disappointing. I want the killer to be someone significant or someone that we have been introduced to in the past that aren't supposed to be in the movie and turn up in this film and end up being the killer. So anyway, let's do the list.
Let's look at the suspects.
In at number 14 and least likely to be the killer is Anika. She is a new character. She is possibly the girlfriend of Mindy. We do see her. She probably dies in the film from what we saw in the teaser trailer, the trailer, etc. and the TV spot. So that's the reason why she is dead last. In at number 13 is Mindy, and again for the same reasons. We see her on the ladder getting chased by Ghostface. I know that there's probably more than one Ghostface, so we should never rule her out or never rule anyone out as a suspect. But I just don't think it's going to be Mindy. She was attacked in the first movie, the Radio Silence movie, and her brother was attacked as well. I don't think they would go to that lengths to hurt each other. I know that Stu and Billy did do that in the first movie, but I think that would be taking it a bit too far. Obviously their uncle was Randy, their mother is Randy's sister, so I think there's too much of a connection in a good way for them, Mindy, to be the killer. And at number 12 is our other half, and that is Chad, for the exact same reasons why I don't think Mindy is the killer. I know he's at number 12 here, but again it's just because I don't think Anika is anywhere near going to be the killer. So Chad and Mindy, they're kind of equal, but 13 and 12 respectively. And at number 11 is Tara. Now I know that I do say that it's always a stunt person that is Ghostface throughout the entire franchise, so that we don't know, or so that we're not supposed to guess who the killer is, because if you've got a really small Ghostface stunt person, then we know it's probably going to be a small actor. So that's why they always have the average height, average build stunt man. It's always a man. They've all got that same specific stunt man, so that we can't really guess from what we're looking at. And I think if Tara ended up being Ghostface, then I think it would be a little bit too far-fetched, because you've got all these average height stunt people and then you've got a really small killer. And the fact that it is Tara as well, she was a suspect in the last movie. Even though she was small, she was that kind of suspect, like could you be the killer or be someone behind it? But I think we've already established that Tara is not going to be it. Despite all the screenshots that we saw of the movie itself, I think in context or even out of context, then it looks a little bit strange. But at the end of the day, I just don't think it's going to be Tara at all. And at number 10 is Quinn. Now, we do see Quinn just a couple of times in the TV spots and the trailer, but I think that she's probably going to be one of the first to die. We do see Ghostface grabbing her from the door and smashing through the glass and getting a hold of her. And we see that her bedroom has got blood all over it as well. So I think she's probably going to be one of the first to die in the movie. And if not one of the first to die in the movie, one of the first of the friends group that they have. That's one of the first of them that's going to die. And at number 9 is Gail. Now this is where the killer, these people could potentially be the killer. I think from 14 to 10, I don't think they're going to be the killer whatsoever. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I'm guessing wrong, but hopefully I'm wrong. But I think Gail, even though I don't think she's going to be the killer, I think there's maybe something about Gail that you could guess maybe she could be a killer. You never know. Obviously Dewey had died and she's maybe angry about it. She survived so many movies. Would it be cool to see one of the survivors, one in the original trio, as being one of the killers? Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be quite cool, and it would be thinking outside the box and doing something that they haven't done before. But at the end of the day, that's why she's number 9, because I still think it's very unlikely that Gail will be a killer. She might die, but I just don't think Gail has got it in her to be one of the Ghostface killers. And at number 8 is Kirby. It is a bit of hit and miss with Kirby, because similar to Gail, she's been in this is going to be her second movie. She did survive a traumatic experience. She does love horror films, so she's got all the tropes to be one of the killers in a Scream movie. If not this one, maybe the next one, you never know. But again, I think I'm kind of on the fence with this one, because she's more than likely not going to be a killer. I think she's genuine. She was a genuinely nice person in Scream 4, and I think they'll bring that into Scream 6. She'll still be a genuinely nice person. She is investigating Ghostface, so I think she's got a vendetta against Ghostface killers. So I think she's more on the good side than on the bad side. And at number 7 is Jason. Now, I don't know enough about Jason to determine what I think about him. We've only saw him in a couple of screenshots, a couple of snippets on the trailer, so there's not enough to go on with Jason. But because he is a new character, he's more than likely more of a suspect than quite a lot of the other people that have been in the previous Scream movies that are coming into this one. But that's all I'm judging Jason on. And at number 6 is Laura. Now this is a strange one, because Laura to me looks most likely to be the one that dies first. She looks like the Drew Barrymore, the Casey Becker of Scream 6, because of her status as an actress, Samara Weaving. So because of her star pool in the horror community and the horror genre, I think she is going to be the first kill in the film. But because she is a new character, and just like Jason, we don't know enough about her to guess if she could be a good person or a bad person, therefore she is higher on the list than I thought she would be. But I think if I'm looking at all these victims, she's more than likely going to be a killer than the people above her. And at number 5 is Sam. Now Sam is obviously a survivor from the previous film, but there's that connection to her father, Billy Loomis, that makes me question Sam's motives. What's she doing? Why is she going to New York? All those kind of things. And obviously with the trailers you see her going to see a therapist, and she's not all there. You know, she's got a bit of craziness about her. You saw that at the end of Scream 5. So there's something about Sam that we don't know yet. There's something about Sam that may be uncovered in the next film. And I think looking at people like Gail, Dewey and Sydney, you wouldn't expect them to be the Ghostface killer. Now that we've got Sam, the torch has been passed to her as the new leading girl. I think there might be a twist in there where if she's not going to be the leading girl, she could end up either dying or being one of the Ghostface killers. And at number 4 is Dr. Christopher Stone, played by Henry Chesney. Now he is a character that again we don't know much about. We don't know anything about him. In fact, we haven't even seen his character in motion in any of the TV spots or the trailers, and that's quite alarming, because like I said, he is a big actor. He's probably going to play some sort of a role in this film. Maybe he will carry on into Scream 7 and be the mastermind behind some of it, but he is old enough to be an adult in 1996 when all the Ghostface killings started happening. He's an older actor, he's an older character, so maybe there's some sort of connection there that we don't know yet. So because we haven't seen any footage of him whatsoever, all we've seen is behind the scenes footage of him leaving and going to the set. That's all we've seen so far. But with him, he's pretty much high up on there as being one of the main suspects. And at number 3 is Dany. Now Dany is your typical boy next door turned serial killer, and that's one of the reasons he is higher on the list. He is a new character. We don't know anything about him. We have seen him more in the trailers than quite a lot of the other characters, but he's not got a lot of dialogue yet. I don't think I've actually seen him move his lips. So there's stuff that we don't really know about Dany that we will obviously find out in the movie. Could it be a little bit too typical that the boy next door, who could be a love interest with Sam, could end up turning out to be one of the killers? Yeah, I think it would be too typical and too obvious, but maybe they want to go down the obvious route to put us off the scent of it being actually him. For example, with Billy Loomis, it looked like it was too obvious to be Billy, that it just couldn't be Billy. Then it ended up being Billy. So would they do the same thing again? I think they would do something like that again to make us think that it just can't be Dany. but never rule them out, so I think Dany is high up on the list. And at number 2 is Detective Bailey. Now this was surprising for me when I was doing my list, because I thought people have got these motives, people have got these reasons. He is a new character, he is old enough to have known what happened in 1996, so he ticks all the boxes, and I think because he does tick the boxes, it puts him high up on the list. I do hear that he is the father of Quinn in this film, and if that's the case, then why would they kill his daughter? Well, maybe he didn't kill his daughter, maybe it was another Ghostface killer that done it, maybe it was part of the cult that have got nothing to do with the real Ghostface killers that done that. There's just so many reasons as to why he would be involved even if his daughter is getting killed. And we've seen it in the past with Jill's mum get killed in Scream 4, and Jill ended up being a killer as well. So it doesn't really matter if someone in your family gets killed, you could still be the killer. So yeah, Detective Bailey, surprisingly for me, is number 2. And at number 1, and the prime suspect for me, is Ethan. Ethan, just like most of the other characters, doesn't have any lines, or doesn't have much lines that we've seen in the TV spots or the trailer or the teaser trailer. There's just something about Ethan that just screams out suspect to me personally. He's always lingering in the background, he's always kind of hidden from some of the shots, almost as if we're not supposed to see him being there, or we're not supposed to question him at all. He just seems like this innocent looking person that seems to be in the right place at the right time. So there's just something about him, when I see him on screen with the rest of the guys, he looks lost, he looks like he's not supposed to be there, and if that's the way he looks like to me in the trailers, then he's obviously going to look like a suspect in the films, and he's obviously supposed to be there to look like a suspect. So they're obviously doing their job when they're bringing in new characters, because we're looking at them and we have to question their motives. But there is characters that are clearly new and are not going to be the killer, like Anika. It's obvious that she's going to die, or it's obvious that she's not the killer, sorry. So but when you look at people like Ethan, he never seems to be in trouble, he never seems to break a sweat from what I've seen. So yeah, from what we see from the evidence, I have to make him the prime suspect. So what are your thoughts on my top 14, guys? Should it be the other way around? Should Anika be the main suspect, the prime suspect for Ghostface? Leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know your top picks. You don't have to tell me every character if you don't want to. Give me at least your top 3 for the killers. There might even be 3 killers in the movie, but give me your top 3 at least, who you think might be the killer and why, because I'd like to know why as well. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.